So here's the deal. There's Hillsong United, Hillsong Worship, Hillsong Young and Free, Hillsong Kids, Hillsong Uber drivers. Like there's an incarnation of Hillsong for everything. But what I want to do right now is I'd love to have you one at a time reach into this bowl and just answer this question that's on there. So we'll start with you, Taya.
Okay.
So what does that say? And then give me your first reaction.
In one word, describe the outfit of the person to your right.
Oh, that would be Joel. That worked out well.
Comfy.
Comfy. Okay, so Becca, you write that down. Okay, now Joel, you reach your giant hand in there. We got a small bowl. What is yours?
One word to describe the new Hillsong movie.
Okay. Is good. Okay, write that down. Okay, that's fantastic.
Oh, no.
I thought it was going to be a little bigger than that.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
Okay, good. Okay, back to you, Taya. You're doing so well with this so far.
Killing it.
2 words you associate with the United States.
Oh.
Food, shopping.
Okay, all right, there you go. That sounds fun. Back to you, Joel.
All right. 2 adjectives to describe your Starbucks drink. Strong and strong.
Strong and strong. Okay, good. No, I love it. I love it right there. Okay.
I'm using good with words. I just had 2 coffees, so I'm shaking.
He can't even read the slip of paper.
He is shaking.
It was shaking.
All right, one more, Taya. You drag one more. Strong and strong. That was good. Okay.
What would be a great name for a new cologne or perfume? Wispy?
Wispy. I love that. I didn't even know that was a
Wispy by
word.
Taya Smith.
But I do like it. Yeah, you could market that.
Yes.
All right, Joel.
The most Australian word you know.
Yes.
Mate.
Yeah.
Mate. Okay, so there we go. Becca has written all these things down, and there's a reason for that because what we wanted to do was help you guys name the next incarnation of Hillsong. Right. Okay, so based on what you guys, and this is all spitballing here, we have the new record coming out from Hillsong Comfy. So that's kind of a worship thing.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, it's a little understated.
It's intimate.
Yeah, that's true. It's very intimate. That's good. One of my favorites we'll save for last. You have Hillsong Food and Shopping.
Good.
So there's a market for that. It could be elevator music. So that would be
Young
good.
and free food and shopping.
Yeah. Hillsong Strong and Strong.
Yeah.
That's the rock version.
That's biblical.
People are gonna love it.
Yeah. Hillsong Wispy. It's flittery. Like we have Americana music. You have Australia Kana. So that would be good. And I think my favorite new album coming out from the new incarnation of Hillsong is Hillsong that's one you're gonna want to pick up.
It's a meditation.
Yes.
Meditation record.
Yeah, it's all didgeridoo.
Yeah.
All right.
Exactly. Well done.
Well, there you go. You can have any of those.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Probably not that you want them, but you could have any of those for the future Hillsongs. I want to talk about the movie that you have coming up.
We are admittedly fans of reality TV around here. I don't know if that's something to be proud of, but they always say on these shows, oh, you get used to the cameras. You kind of forget that they're there. I don't understand how that works. Zach's filming right now, and it makes me so uncomfortable like the entire time.
I've already forgotten, and I think I've itched my hiney 4 times. Nuts.
But in the process, because I would assume that they probably followed you around for months, did you forget that they were there? Did they kind of become a part of the tour almost?
Oh, I'd say it was quite the opposite.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like they didn't follow us for that long, to be honest.
Oh, really?
And it was like it was very obtrusive, and because they weren't small cameras, you know, it was like these giant,
and they're up close to you.
Yeah, we would be sitting there trying to like have a serious moment, write a record, and then this giant camera would just kind of float into your face, and, and I just stare at it like like a deer in headlights. I'd be like.
Did they ever have to go, hey, that was really great what you said, or I really enjoyed that fight. But we weren't rolling. Did they ever have you try to redo anything?
They did multiple times, and we refused to do it.
Good.
I'm really grateful. Yeah, there was times like, hey, Joel, can we get you to come back into the room and just like strike up like something about with a bit of tension, about the fact that, you really need a song today. I'm like, yeah, but we don't need a song today.
I got 3 albums of songs.
Like that, and it was,
can you cry again,
please?
Yeah.
No, I'm actually really grateful because there was none of that. And, the film was made by bunch of Hollywood guys, and the guy who directed it, isn't a Christian, So he was kind of exploring the whole thing from the outside looking in, which was really cool.
That's a neat perspective, though, too, and a neat opportunity for you guys to let him see like genuine, authentic people who are just kind of living out their faith.
Yeah, and I think the two projects he worked on before us was Nicki Minaj and Jay-Z. So it was like,
oh, you were so like her. I've heard that.
You're the logical next choice by succession.
It was a lot of fun, but honestly, like I'm grateful because we just kind of refused to try and do anything different to what we normally do, and I think that's what comes across in the movie. It feels authentic, and that's kind of was our only prayer for it. So
that's awesome, man. Well, I can't wait to see it.
Well, I'm wondering because of course we have this happen all the time where someone messes up on camera and it's embarrassing. So I'm wondering, was there ever a time when the cameras were on you tripped, you fell, you said something wrong? Like was there a blooper, or will there be a blooper reel in this movie?
I don't know if there's a blooper. I feel like it's just the film.
There should be a
They have too much footage of the
Your life is a blooper.
Basically.
You've seen, it's like, they put that in. That's awesome.
Oh, that's awesome.
So was there something that you were like, let's make sure that doesn't get put in the movie? Or did you even have a say?
Nope.
Not really.
Oh, really? That's interesting. You don't have like final cut on that. That's interesting.
Hey, but I mean, that's part of, without you're not redoing things on one end. And then that also means like, if you fall flat on your face, there it is.
Yeah. There was one moment where they had me ride, because I live in New York, and I was riding, they wanted me riding my bike to the studio, which I do every day. I don't. I do occasionally. So I was riding my bike to the studio, and they're hanging out the side of this car filming. We're driving down 6th Avenue. It's a busy street. And next thing you know, like this pedestrian comes across, and I slammed the brakes on, went head over heels.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was pretty good. They didn't put it in the film. I wish they did.
Oh, that would have been awesome.
But I nearly killed a pedestrian for the making of the film.
We talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
You just run into things. You're just like Krog the giant Aussie or something, man.
It's true.
What are you looking at me for? Did I offend someone?
Yes.
All right, I do that.
I'm not offended.
Thank you. I wouldn't
Absolutely not. I see it as a compliment.
Yeah, you can call a guy giant. Had I called Taya a giant Aussie, we got a problem.
It's true, though.
You call me
Let's be
giant
honest.
every day.
Yeah, but you're you. Like, you're Becca, and you're giant.
I'm like a walking apology. I just walk around and say sorry, even before I
That's where
bumped
I
into
get
someone or
it.
something. I'm like, sorry.
Where I get it. It's for being giant. That is it.
You get it.
Did you know that Oceans was going to be one of those songs, or was that a surprise? Because some songs sneak up on you.
Truthfully, it's a bit of a miracle story, and we just prayed going into that season that that God would just breathe on what we're doing. Didn't want to keep doing something if God wasn't in it, and just kind of really felt like that song was a bit of a stamp that God's in this thing. And Taya was just, I saw Taya, she was dancing on stage during a Young and Free. It was the first time Young and Free ever did anything in our church. And I was standing next to Brooke Fraser, who has been a part of United for a long, long time.
Right.
She was doing her solo stuff at the time. And I was like, man, that girl's got like just a presence about her. There's something about it. And she's like, have you heard her sing? I'm like, no, she can sing. So Taya came down the next day, skateboarded to the studio, and we thought, let's just get her to do some BVs. And she'd been a part of the church for a few years and just serving in the city quietly. And she started singing. And then we're like, can you come in tomorrow and sing this song? And we hadn't even finished the lyrics for it. And we knew the song was called Oceans, but it was like the scratch lyrics were like, oceans of grace. And so Taya comes in the next day, skateboards in again. And I grabbed Maddie Crocker, who I wrote the song with, and I said, let's just go for a walk, and we're not coming back till we have the song. So we walked just down and sat kind of on this rock, and then he says, what if the song is about, stepping out onto the water, so to speak? And it was like it just dropped out of heaven, and literally wrote the lyrics from the first line to the last line about as quick as you could write them. It was just a heaven drop. And
Wow.
Taya came, we took it back, Taya sung it, she sung it twice, and that's it.
Wow, and she's quiet no more. Like that's all of a sudden there's this huge voice out of her that has just gone around the world. That's amazing, man.
Yeah, it was amazing. And the whole thing, like even the song, like what it says and what it is, for us, it just kind of sums up our whole journey at that time, where we were at. So it's been awesome.
All right, so we got the guys and lady from Hillsong United, and here's the big question, because you have a new album, Dirt and Grace. Do you think, or what song do you think on that album is your next Oceans?
I don't think we think.
Yeah.
We don't think. Try not to think that way because
you have
otherwise we'd
to.
have like every song would be a 9-minute song with a big Taya screaming.
What song then are you on that album are you most excited about? Because the concept of what you guys did with the album, running around, I guess, Jerusalem and jumping out in places and recording the album live is fascinating to me.
Well, yeah, I mean the story is, look, we went into when we started this record, Empires, which was the one that came out last year. We didn't have anything, and Oceans was kind of taken off, and there's a lot of pressure to like come up with the next thing. And so we didn't have anything, but so we turned to Matthew 5 and we just read the Beatitudes, Sermon on the Mount. And
I was going to tell the girls that's what that was.
Out of that,
they didn't know.
out of that, it all started kind of just flowing. And so when we were making the album, Mikey, who produces the record, kind of was like, imagine if we went and recorded this in Israel. And it was just a bit of like a what if. And then sure enough, we got the opportunity to do it. We were there for basically the Easter week. And we had 7 days. And the plan was just to go and record 2 or 3 songs. Like we were going to do Oceans on the Sea of Galilee and a couple of other songs. And when we got there, we just were like, let's just do the whole thing. And so we would literally turn up to a location. God's grace was in it the whole time. The army would turn up and somehow they'd let us do it.
Really?
Just crazy stuff going on. And while the team was setting up the production gear and so forth, we'd be like sitting there figuring out how to play these songs. And then we'd do it. We'd play them 2 or 3 times and really just kind of let the landscape and where we were just kind of dictate what the sound was and how we sung these songs. And we ended up recording 15 songs, the whole record, and it sounds completely different. And it was such a wild experience. It was just a complete adventure. And I think, when people see the visuals to the album, because we filmed the whole thing, you'll understand it more. But man, it just feels like just God's wind was at our back the whole time. And our prayer is that, God just continues to breathe on it and take it wherever it goes. One thing I've learned is you can't force a song to be anything that it's not. And so our desire wasn't to try to write a hit song or a song that's going to be a big song in churches or another Oceans. It was just like, let's write songs that are honest and real for us. So we tried our best just to write songs that were true to where we were at, what was going on in our world at the time. And what I find is, a song will just have its own life and God decides to breathe on something and take it wherever. So our prayer is that happens, But there's some moments there, like Taya sings Prince of Peace, which I think is an incredible song for now.
Right, especially with all the chaos and violence and all that in the world.
Yeah, and I think it's a powerful song, So like I think that's probably my favorite moment on there.
We're talking to Joel and Taya from Hillsong United. And speaking of that, like while you were in Israel shooting all this and kind of jumping out and doing things kind of all, shotgun style there, did you feel safe? Or, because there are visions that people have of Israel as being this place that's just embroiled in conflict and none of it is safe. Did you guys feel safe over there or did you have some tense moments too?
I'd be lying if I said that I felt safe every single
and that's fine though, but that's good. I mean that's life, that's reality.
It's such a clash of cultures, and we really, we went into Palestine a few days, we had rocks thrown at us.
Really?
We had all kinds of moments. And then we went from there to Lebanon and then we went right up to the Syrian border and we spent about 3 or 4 days in the refugee camps in that area, and that was amazing. And funnily enough, I felt safer there. And so but Israel, it's safe. It's like, especially like it's set up for tourists and so forth. So it's like, I think if you, look, the world's a volatile place, and that's certainly a volatile place. It's a clash of cultures and everything. But I always kind of feel like, it's, I don't know, I don't feel safe on the roads here in Nashville. So we're good.
That's
Yeah, we have some crazy people here. And you live in New York, so like going to Jerusalem's like nothing.
Yeah.
Now, I'm curious about one thing. Is it weird or wonderful having your song sung by millions of people, but still having like this crazy anonymity?
It's weirdly wonderful.
Yeah, okay. Because like I would imagine like you could walk down the street and not get mobbed, at least here in the States. Is that the same case for you in Australia?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the same.
More so in Australia.
More so in Australia, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's
They're just like, we don't know who you are.
okay, but see, that's another thing because we have mates, as you call them in Australia, from Australia, and that's the thing. They say that like the Christian culture is very different down there than it is here. How so? How is it different? Would you say?
I just say Australians are a bit more skeptical.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's awesome though.
Australia's I mean, Australia is it's a secular country, you know, really.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's, you know, people kind of don't go to church really much. Like
And so-
a lot of Catholics and, you know, people who are like kind of maybe their parents or something, but yeah, most people, like, well, I went to a Christian school and there was about 4 Christians in my school.
Yeah.
Really? See, but that's what's so crazy to see something like Hillsong come up out of that and this huge church and all these different incarnations of the band to be this global phenomenon.
And I do wonder, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, but that skepticism sometimes leads to a deeper passion because if you're able to overcome that, then you're more invested in it.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, for us, when we were growing up as young people, like if we turn up to school and we're a Christian, you kind of have to live it.
Yeah.
Because there's, you know, I had 98 kids in my year who were quick to point the finger at me any moment, you know. But
The second you slip up, it's
Yeah,
like, I
exactly.
told you were a
Exactly.
hypocrite. You're like,
Yes.
no,
Yeah, but
I'm human.
It definitely breeds a certain passion that I think is, you know, I think a lot of, you know, our music and even just as young people just kind of desperate to serve God and to want to be used by Him. There was a certain element of it's all or nothing, you know, and I think that's, I'm grateful for it, you know, and I think it's something that our church has kind of grown up, you know, like it's been amazing seeing what God's done there. But even now, like in Australia, people don't understand our church at all. They just kind of think it's this whatever.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I would assume like you see people bouncing around and hands in the air if you're already in a secular society, but they'll do the same thing in a football match, you know, which
Exactly.
is crazy, which we'll get to in a minute.
Yeah.
So we got Joel and Taya from Hillsong United here on the show with us. Now, I know this is going to sound extremely ignorant and maybe even foolhardy, and I apologize, it's kind of me. But there was, yeah, seriously.
You called yourself that. Just
I know.
point that out.
But this is something I've always wondered about, and I've always forgotten to ask every Australian person that I know. There was an episode of The Simpsons years ago where they flushed a toilet in Australia, and the water went counterclockwise, whereas here it goes clockwise. And I've always wondered, is that like true, or was that something they made up?
I think I actually tried it once, but I didn't remember which
No,
one was
it's
which.
true.
Is it true?
It's 100% true. The water goes the other way.
Okay, because it's not like something that where you say that and like everyone laughs at you because you're like really ignorant and you're making fun of me right now.
No, we drive on the other side of the road. We walk on the other side of the pavement.
Yes, that's so hard.
Yeah, when we come,
Oh
if I've spent some time in
gosh.
Australia, I come over here and I just keep walking into
Yeah.
people.
And people just get
Naturally,
mad.
if we're walking towards someone, I'm going to go left.
Yeah.
And that person's going to go right. So you just bump into
And you're
people.
not a little man either. Like you,
No.
you could kill someone.
Yeah, I have hurt people before.
We got Joel and Taya from Hillsong United, and I appreciate you guys being on the show today. And it's really cool to get to meet some of the people that have written some of the greatest songs that we're ever going to sing for the next 100 years, hopefully. So thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.